When it comes to really low budget productions, chances are good that you're going to be wanting to shoot either outside or in a very remote location. Your location might be a house that's located in the middle of nowhere. So today we're going to be talking about how to deal with the local wildlife. One of the first things you're going to want to do once you've decided on a location is to scope it out and figure out what kind of animals are known to be in the area. This is going to help you out on several fronts. It's going to give you an idea of what you might encounter while you're tromping around in the woods. It might give you an idea of what kind of noises you're going to have to deal with at night. For example, if you have alligators in the area, you might be hearing their bellowing at night, which can really ruin your audio. And it will also be able to give you an idea of how to do a safety protocol for your cast and crew. The next thing you're going to want to do is research any of the animals that are known to be in the area. Make sure that this is everything from snakes to spiders to large mammals to predatory fish to even birds. You're going to want to have a working knowledge of the types of animals that can be potentially hazardous to your cast and crew, and you're also going to want to make sure that they are aware of what each one of these animals looks like. One idea is to print out large papers or posters, a representative of each animal, and post it somewhere that people can access it quickly. For example, inside the cast house or even online where people can pull it up on their phones real quick. You're going to want to identify each animal, have a nice clear photo of what it looks like, and a quick reference to whether or not it is venomous or dangerous or just known to be aggressive. Keep in mind that things like spiders and snakes might not necessarily be harmful to humans, but they can be aggressive. They can jump at you, they can try to strike and bite at you. It might not kill you, but it might scare the daylights out of somebody. It's important to know how to behave when you encounter any one of these larger predators. For example, people will often tell you to pretend to play dead when you're with a bear, which may or may not work depending on whether or not said bear has cubs with them. Other animals tend to give chase if somebody runs away from them. Other animals would prefer you to run away from them and will not give chase. There are 100 different scenarios to keep in mind. The safest thing is to just leave the animals alone and give them a wide berth, but sometimes that's not always possible. So make sure that you read up on how to handle it if you happen across any one of these dangerous animals. If you're shooting on a location where it is more likely to run into something dangerous, ideally you're going to want to have a medic on your staff. If you're unable to afford this, then you're going to at the very least want to have a well-equipped first aid kit and instructions on how to handle things such as snake bites, spider bites, and whatnot. You're also going to need to know where the local hospitals are, where your local walk-in clinics are, and your local poison control number. Keep in mind that you may end up encountering poisonous types of plants, such as poison ivy or poison oak. Another thing that you would think would be common sense, but it's amazing how many people either forget about this or don't think about how fragrant some of their supplies are, is that many animals are attracted to odd smells, particularly if it smells like something that could be edible. The most common of this is people who are eating outside. Bears, wolves, squirrels, raccoons, all of these types of animals are going to smell food and they're going to want to know what's for lunch. Other things that aren't necessarily edible to us, but an animal doesn't know that, includes things like hairspray, cologne, chemicals used for makeup effects or special effects, things like that. Odd smells, especially those that carry on a wind, may attract animals who are curious to see if you've brought them something good to eat. Another thing to keep in mind is that some of these animals can get very curious and they may actually come close to you in order to investigate. Don't let people mistake curious for friendliness. If you have a wild animal who is getting a little bit closer than you would think that they would, don't make the assumption that, oh, he wants to be petted. Don't let your actors or your crew people near them. Wait for them to leave. You might be able to chase them off, but I caution a little bit about that simply because any act of aggression, they could take it as a challenge. Most of the time they'll look for a few minutes, their curiosity will be satisfied, and they'll move on. But whatever you do, don't let anybody go up to pet the friendly little wolf who has come up to see what's going on. Also, don't make the mistake of letting people touch animals that would seem to be harmless. Even things like wild rabbits can deliver a nasty bite if they feel threatened. And when you're dealing with animals such as minks or raccoons or even squirrels that look all cute and furry and look like they belong in a Disney movie, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to act like Disney movie animals. Make sure that you tell your cast and crew to leave any and all wild animals alone. If you do happen to have an aggressive type species wander in on your set, don't be a hero. You are no match for an 800-pound bear. I don't care what you're armed with. Do not confront wild animals that are coming up on your set, especially the type that have been known to get rather aggressive and are much better fighters than you are. Have a plan to get everybody to safety. Wait for the animal to leave. If it's something that's becoming quite a nuisance, such as a bear that will not leave, or an alligator who has decided that your tents are a great place to hang out, call somebody in charge of wildlife removal. But do not confront any type of animals. This is a really good way to get hurt. Now, even with all these precautions in mind, there is still a very good chance that you will end up with some species that look similar, or at least part of them looks similar, and you could end up with a case of mistaken identity. For example, if you see a fin in the water and you don't know the swim pattern difference between sharks and dolphins, just assume it's a shark. You want to err on the side of caution here because it's very easy to mistake a venomous water moccasin from a harmless water snake, and one will kill you and the other one won't. So, whenever you're not sure, assume that it's dangerous. So by following some simple common sense and having a healthy appreciation for the nature and knowing that you're not going to be able to reason with these animals, you should be able to keep your cast and crew relatively safe. Just do your research and try to eliminate as many things that can attract the wildlife as possible. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Unconnected Filmmaker, and if you found this information useful and want to be notified when the next video premieres, just hit that subscribe button. Or if you have anything you'd like to see an episode on, feel free to comment below. See you next time, and keep those cameras rolling.